Agatha, the Sword, and the Lion. When making a deal, one must be specific. That's all Agatha could think as she lurched through the streets of Oswood, young to a chin, her mouth gathered with hope. As soon as the terms between Tetris and the snake were settled, Excalibur to decide the king, treacherous Sugar East was waited by 100 armies, all of Tetris' friends captured and bound. The prince said nothing, watching this happen, even as his friends were carved into a prisoner's parade, even as Ripper and his clumps were kept behind and jailed inside the cottage, even as Tetris' princess was kicked into the back of the line with Sophie. As their wings were thousands of soldiers marshalling them along, good and evil, prodding Tetris' friends with swords and spears, while forceful citizens parried the rebels with rubbish, chanting, "One is king, Lion is king." In front of Agatha, a sworded wag smacked the dots in the face, while a rocked peach slapped at Agatha's ear, spurting her cheek with juice. She remembered one of the first times she had left the castle at Camelot when she was its new princess, citizens in the village attacking her with mashed husks of food, rejecting Tetris as king. Back then, Agatha too had heard those about Tetris. So much had happened since. A snake unmasked, a lion brought to light, and yet the people of the woods were still deep in the dark. Agatha could hear Sophie's chocolate breaths behind her, her friend the last in the train, her mouth stuffed with King Dewdra's brown scarf, the warranties with King rattling alongside and giving Sophie a boost whenever she loathed, snipping, "Sugar Queen, ha!" Father had, the witches were chained too, Hester's demon handed by an iron collar around its master's neck, and Anadar's two was tied with rope around Anadar's belly. A green, deja vu came over Agatha, remembering the last time she, Sophie, and the witches were in a train gang, captive to pirates who took them to their leader. That was the first time they met the snake. Now here they were again in his grip. They had magic at their disposal and the will to fight back, but resistance were fertile. They were both outnumbered and irrelevant. The outcome of the tournament confined to a contest between Tetris and the snake, just as King Arthur had intended. Even Merlin stalked along the train dutifully, peeping back at Agatha with a glum expression, as if whatever incited the prince to challenge the path had been done without consulting him. Tedros was the only one free, walking at the front of the train gang, his black coat buttoned up tight, the path winding next to him on White Horse. 12 Camelot soldiers guarded Tedros from the front, crossbows cocked at him, the soldiers shuffling backwards along the last bumpy cobblestones of the square. Agatha terrified that any misstep might trigger one of the bows. Still, Tedros looked impossibly calm, as if he himself had seen the future and picked this path, knowing where it would lead. And yet, the path had the same surreal expression, towering high over the prince, having seized Tedros' friends primitively, as if there could only be one outcome to whom Excalibur would choose. They couldn't both be right. Agatha wanted desperately to trust Tedros' instincts. No doubt he had assumed that under fair conditions, in full view of the people, his father's word would anoint him king. But the snake was always one step ahead, just like his own father, and to play by the rules against him was the surest way to lose. Hoping to calm herself, Agatha looked back at Sophie, but her friend was crowded silently in her white dress, her eyes pinned downwards. She sensed that Agatha watching her, about to look up, but Agatha turned, letting her be. It was the same consuming grief she had seen in Sophie as Snow White. She could almost read her friend's mind. That heart wouldn't have stood for this, all gone along quietly. He would have erupted into a raging man-wolf and smashed the soldiers with his fists and wasted holy, apocalyptic hell, no matter what steel Tedros had made. And even though it would have served no use or certainly made things worse, Sophie would have loved him all the more for it. That Sophie had fallen in love with Hot was so natural as it was surprising.